Hey everyone, Travis Basso here, giving you a track overview for my one note challenge, Bitwig Community Challenge 6, using only one note, pitch class maybe. I chose G sharp, and you can watch my full track performance, link below. And I apologize in advance, my CPU is giving me a lot of headaches here, and so I'm not on camera, and I'm going to have to try to minimize my CPU usage. But anyway, as I said, you can watch the full version of the track, but here I'll give you a little taste here. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so good. As I said, CPU not loving. Not loving this. So let's just start. Okay, we got our kick. I got my kick here. And yeah, so right, everything's in G sharp. Everything's tuned to that. And then a big thing I'm doing is over here, you can see I've got this vector 4 and it's mapped to all sorts of parameters. And then I've got a couple of buses down here with some reverb. That's just stock. It's from the space and time package. And then I've got two different builds. One build here is just a delay. You kind of heard that. Delay with a pump on the tool here, and then combined with the test tone, also tuned to G sharp through a chorus, and that gave that kind of like sort of riser type thing you heard that I like a little control there. And so that's that. And then another transition, which you heard also as well, which is just a 3/4 note delay. Things get fed into it, as well as there's a high pass. Well, really, I'm using the EQ on the master to high pass. And without the delay because I have it frozen. So okay, and the reason I'm of course telling you that is because you see as I move around the vector, you can hear the changes from the kick. So you can see the kick's pretty basic. It's just what you see before you. Okay, and I've got that going on in a lot of different parts there. So let's take a look at the hi-hat next here. Hi-hat I like a lot. Created this in the grid here. Let's get rid of that. And I got this idea from Bitwig Mycelium, and it's pretty straightforward, but it's real fun. So it's using these two sines here with some, I guess, from frequency modulation. That's creating the noise. So if we take the blend down, we say, okay, and then set up here 4 pulse oscillators, all initially tuned to G sharp, but then there's all sorts of crazy tuning just to really pitch them up and get a real metallic sound, and blend them together. And with this little curves thing here is just changing the overall envelope, and that gives a little change up there, a little rhythm pattern, as well as a Euclidean sort of thing here to trigger it. And then as I move around the vector, you know, I like that a lot. So you get a lot of flexibility there, and with having this hi-hat be synthesized this way, I really love the sound of it, and you can really dial in exactly what you want. And as you saw with the vector, you can kind of really take advantage of that. So next up is another idea I got from Bitwig Mycelium, and it's just basically hitting, pinging, if you will, a filter. So it's got some delay there and some EQ. So I'm just hitting this highly resonant filter. Hitting that with a little, some gates here, which is playing a little off rhythm here. And then, shape it up, process it. It's just more textural, really, but it sounds pretty cool. It's a nice little idea, simple but effective. I don't think I'm doing too much to this one with the vector. This one's fun. So this is an idea I got from a Tosh video, and so we got 3 little sampler players here. I'm just using some stock conga and bongo samples from Bitwig. They're all being driven by Euclidean, which has the same numerator and different. No, I'm sorry. They have all the same denominators, different numerators here. So they're all on 8, and then you got like a 9, a 3, and a 6 here. So they're switched up here in a pattern. And then they're going through this select here, which is sort of running through and selecting the pattern or creating that sort of sequence, if you will. And doing some things there, again, with Euclid and some shifting just to get a variation, to get the pattern I wanted. Send it through a phaser. That's it. You can hear it. But in context, it really works. Like... Okay, and then for the tom here, I synthesize a tom, very basic, just a little pitch mod here, G sharp 2, using in the triangle, pretty basic release envelope here, some saturation, low pass it real hard, pretty hard, and that's that. And there's 2 different patterns for that one. So if we go to the drums again, okay, so moving right along here, I got my bass part here. Again, another Bitwig Mycelium idea. Just a 3 oscillator thing, pulse, sawtooth, and a sub mixed together, low pass. Whole bunch of different triggerings going on here to get this pattern. And just a lot of modulation, which is coming from some different LFOs and taking advantage of like blending LFOs and envelopes and just doing fun stuff like that. This one does have some changes. So actually I can change the triggers here, or the numbers of the quantize, so that way I can get some variations like... and the real subdued one. So that's that. That one's fun. Sounds good. Then I got this lead sound here, also in the polygrid, using the byte oscillator. And then a lot of what you're seeing here is actually blending modulations together to create all these different ways to modulate the whole patch here, but just sort of taking advantage of, instead of having like 5 different LFOs, right? I've got 2 and they're blended together with the envelope, and they're affected as well. Try to maximize what I'm doing here. So we'll take a listen. So a lot of what is going on here is just the chorus and the mod delay, and then I'm as I move around the vector, I'm like really increasing it. It sounds real good. I like it. Because again, it's just a single note here, but trying to introduce a lot of like pitch modulation variation without getting like out of the purpose being, you know, the one note challenge, right? So just playing around with that kind of thing there. Then I've got these two other sounds here. My first one's a drone sound, which I know is probably pretty quiet. And so basically, as you saw here real quick, I'm using the swarm with the ripple here. And just some more stuff here with modulation and blending modulation, and then some chorus and delay. And that's getting, what you'll hear is it's going through a bus that's got a whole bunch of weird delay setting on here. And this filter now comes in and out sometimes. So when I want to like break things down, you just hear that kind of like pulsing. So that's for the when everything's kind of stripped back. And that's that. And then in addition to that, I've actually got a polymer here. Okay, and so that's just doing the union there. Some pretty fairly standard. It's got two different MIDI things here. There's just octaves of G sharp here, and in addition to sort of changing the sound as I move around the vector, you've also got, I added this arpeggiator here that only activates when I'm in the sort of build section. And I don't know. Oh, yeah. And so the notes, this could be why. And the notes in the MIDI all have probability. So sometimes I guess maybe there's a probability that no notes sound. And so that's that. And then basically from there, I've got one more sound. That's the lead sound. It only comes in at some points here. You got your delay and your reverb here, and then it's just basically a pulse, getting some phase modulation from a sine. And what's happening that's interesting, I suppose, is the G sharp's going through an octaver, which is getting randomly modulated up and up. And so that's why you get that octave shifting. I'm using a lag to get that glide. And then other times it doesn't even come in, right? And that's basically it. As I said, I already showed basically, but again, I'm just using a reverb that's a patch here, and the build, yeah, explain that, and the transition, and that's it. And the master's got a little bit here, some bass mono, just some EQ compression, a little volume boost there. So that's the whole thing. Like I said, linked down below, you can see the whole performance track. It was a great experiment, great experience, and I hope you all enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one.